So, Mia, how are the windmills of your mind?
Don't.
Is it a circle and a spiral and a wheel within a wheel? Never changing, ever going? In an never-ending reel? So, we goofed. We were supposed to do Death on the Nile.
That's what what our randomizer selected for us.
Yes, but come to find out, Kenneth Branagh's Death on the Nile is not due out until next year. So, we randomized again and came up with the Thomas Crown Affair. And
I hadn't seen either version.
Neither had I. So this was a good one to do because we hadn't seen either movie. This is the Thomas Crown Affair. The first one came out in 1968 and has the most amazing theme song ever.
She's lying. It did win an Oscar for that. I'm going to do the rundown.
It is an Oscar-winning movie for that song.
I hated the song. In fact, my first bulleted note here is longest intro ever because I think they played the entire song. They do.
The entire song.
In the intro.
If you look up the lyrics to Windmill of Your Mind, it is a novel.
Please look them up. It's text.
It's this huge block of text. That poor singer, you could hear him gasping for air after some of these lyrics that just go on. And
I hated it. In fact, I hated the music in this entire movie.
The 1968 version?
Yeah.
It's we'll get to it. It's weird.
So after the intro, there's this spotlight torture style job interview where he hires a crook and disguises how he looks so the crook can't name him if he's picked up. But that would be the worst job interview that I've ever had. There's nothing really enticing the burglars here to perform this job offer.
I mean, he gives them an envelope of money. Excuse me. But it's not a lot of money, even by 1968 standards. I think it's $25,000, which, I mean, I suppose that's like $100,000. But it doesn't seem like a whole lot of money. But he's not asking, this particular crook, he's not asking to do a whole lot. Just go buy a car. And
Yeah,
this is the driver.
Be somewhere at a specific time. There's no violence involved.
Right. And this is the only one of the interviews you actually see.
Yes, the only interview we see. We do see some phone calls, some people answering phones and things like that. And so we know that Thomas Crown is Steve McQueen, is Charlie, in quotes, Charlie being the alias that the burglars refer to him as. So then the burglars take hostages in the elevator in the bank. Mm-hmm. They go down to the bank basement and there's your caper. They steal money straight from the vault of the bank. Small bills, so it's not easily traceable. And then we see Thomas Crown arrive in the cemetery. He's leaving a bouquet. And he gets the stolen money out of a trash bag.
Yeah.
And then he lands in Geneva. This all moves very quickly.
Yeah.
And so the scam is that he took the money. He's depositing funds in smaller amounts in Geneva on the 19th of every month.
So it's not like flagged. They're not seeing this huge deposit in an offshore account. It's just little deposits here and there. But they steal, they say $2.6 million, which by today is close to $20 million.
And then Faye Dunaway arrives in town as the insurance agent for the bank. Is that a thing?
I think so, because they're not going to want to pay insurance on a theft. Her name is Vicky Anderson. That's her name. I couldn't remember her name.
So she arrives in town and she's working with the police to try to figure out who stole this money.
Right. She is not a police officer. She works for the insurance company, but she's working with the police to help solve it. So,
and then we see a list of suspects, possible suspects, people that had access to the bank and things like that, and she immediately sort of pegs Thomas Crown as the mastermind behind it. And then we see a list of scenes, a compilation of scenes of him doing weird, pretentious sports.
Rich man stuff.
Yeah. Total trust fund kid BS with yellow planes. And there's this golf tournament and he lost golf on purpose. I don't understand what.
Yeah, he's just a total cool guy, always has a cigarette in his mouth.
Too cool for school. So what'd you say? Vicky Anderson. Yeah. And the lieutenant put together clues about the heist. And she shows up at an auction to try to outsmart him. So she reveals that to Thomas Crown that she is investigating him. And then they launch into this courtship. And this is halfway through the movie. I asked Carol to pause it because I'm like, wait a minute, aren't we nearing the end? No. They're figuring out it's him. And she's like, well, but then half the movie is them falling in love. So major groan.
It is lots of dates. You go on dates with this couple.
It's a compilation of dates and extravagance and bullshit. Then
culminating with the chess scene.
Before that. They can't steal the car, the getaway car. So Vicky comes up with this plan to put an ad in the newspaper, which prompts the getaway driver's wife to call in and get a reward.
Right.
So then Vicky steals the damn car.
Yeah, I'm assuming his wife figured that he had done something nefarious.
The ad said something like, has your husband been acting weird? Has he been irritable? Has he been impatient? And I'm like, well, that's me on PMS.
That's every husband occasionally. But they suddenly have this new station wagon. I think she just kind of suspects him, so she contacts the police.
Yeah, that's true. She did say something about how he's been spending money like it's water.
And then Vicky not only steals his car, but kidnaps his damn son.
Kidnaps the kid. The kid is in the car. And she's just like out waving to him like she's fucking Princess Diana in the back seat with the boy when they show up.
This woman breaks so many laws trying to solve this caper.
And are we supposed to just forget that she's breaking the laws because she's pretty? Is that
because it's Faye Dunaway and she's very elegant and she is of course rich as well. She's not like some poor detective trying to break this case. She is a very wealthy woman.
And she is smart.
Yeah.
I have to say that. But this is all very sort of lost on me as an audience member. I'm not impressed by all this flash.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then there's the sexy chess seduction, which I would love to see Saturday Night Live or any sketch comedy group remake this scene. I mean, she's running her fingers up her bare arm and scratching, so she has to move her dress, the chest piece of her dress, out of the way to reach that scratch, and she's parting her lips in just the right way, and like giving the pawn a hand job, and I mean, it's just the sexual tension builds, and he's just like, let's play another game.
Fondling the bishop has a new meaning now.
It's very new meaning. I'm never going to get that imagery out of my mind. That's what's in the windmills of my mind.
Goes on. The chess scene is like 5 minutes.
It's too long.
5 minutes of them just.
That's what makes it a perfect SNL skit.
I know.
It'd be right 4.5 minutes, cut to commercial.
By the end of the scene, I'm just like, oh, just fuck for Pete's sake.
And they did.
Yes, they did.
And then they're at the farmer's market, and it's day dates. He's whining and dining her. She's falling in love, and she's not admitting it to the lieutenant, who's trying to call her out at every chance he gets. Yet, he does not
pull her off the case or tell her
report
to go
her to her manager, pull her off the case, nothing. He just kind of gives her snide comments. Very passive-aggressive. Not a good lieutenant, in my opinion.
No. Well, yeah, none of the police are good at their job here. But then she's terrible in her job, too. She knows it's him, but she has nothing on him. He's very careful about when he, sets up this heist. He's very careful that nobody knows who he is when he hires them. And none of the guys met each other, so there's nothing that they can tell the police, basically. This is just gut instinct on her that says, this is our guy.
Yes, and in reality, you'd have a span of time to solve the case, and if it's not solved at that point, you mark it unsolved, you put it in a file, you get assigned another case.
And then the insurance company has to pay.
Correct.
So, yeah, this is just drug on for so long, and I just got tired of seeing them go on dates. I'm like...
Yeah. The stuff that was more interesting, they made into squares, as you called Square-orama.
It's just, yeah, there's like, this is so 60s. Just putting things into little squares around the screen.
Yeah, so they can show a lot happening in just a few seconds of runtime, which is effective. It's just, for me, I couldn't care less about the romance, so I would rather see the day dates in the squares.
Yeah.
And show me the actual caper, show me the getaway, show me...
show me
the stuff that you are putting
the hiring of the guys or whatever. But here, you get the square vision, but sometimes it's not even different people doing different things. It's the same person doing the same exact thing, and I'm like, why are you repeating it?
Yeah,
all over the screen.
The polo scene was just 6 camera shots, six camera views, excuse me, of him playing polo. Well, I get it. I get that he plays polo. Why do I need to see that? I don't know
why we're seeing 6 different.
Yes.
It's not even different. It's the same scene.
The only thing I was impressed by was that I was like, well, that's actually him. That was not a stunt double.
Yeah, Steve McQueen basically did quite a few of his own stunts, including the driving here, because he does like a little doom buggy thing where he's obviously putting Faye Dunaway in danger. They're just going breakneck on the beach.
Yeah, and then it's the ending to see which one is going to outwit the other, and he ultimately outwits her, but
but it's not like, because he says he's going to rob another bank, and he does, but then he doesn't pick up the money. He just flies off to wherever, because he's going to retire early, or he doesn't need this money, so it's not like he's going to live off this money. It's just going to sit in a Geneva bank account. So, but he doesn't pick up the money, so she ends up not being able to arrest him because he leaves the country.
Yeah. So, I should back up. I didn't even mention the premise being that this man is already rich. He doesn't need to steal money. He does it for the fun of it. And we're supposed to like him, I guess.
That's the thing. It's like he doesn't... If he were benevolent and stealing this money and helping people out or whatever, he's incredibly selfish. He's just stealing the money because he can. Because look, it's a game.
Yeah. Let me get through the rundown of the second one.
I'm sorry.
And then we'll talk.
And then we'll dive into it. But yeah, in this one they do not end up together. He leaves the country and she's just left in the cemetery.
He gives her a choice.
Yeah.
And she makes the choice to turn him in, ultimately. Which he kind of figured that she would do, and he outwits her and gets away.
Yeah.
And she's left all heartbroken.
All heartbroken in the graveyard.
She'll never meet a man like him. All right. So in the remake...
I don't know, she's gonna meet another man with money. Maybe not a great lay.
It'll take her 14 days
She'll have to find
away.
another chess partner.
So the remake, it starts out with a therapy session, and Faye Dunaway is a cameo appearance here as his therapist.
We assume it's his therapist. They never really say.
That's his therapist.
It's got to be his therapist.
Yeah. At first I thought it was like an interview for a high-profile,
That's what I
article.
thought too, but I'm like, she's asking weird questions for this interview.
It's a recurring thing throughout the movie, so that a few points later, I figured out, oh, that's his therapist. Which was cool. Nice nod to the original. And then we're in a fine art museum. We follow him to going to work at this high-rise work office. Gorgeous view of the water. So, money, 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 dollar signs, dollar signs, dollar signs. And then there's a contract signing. Don't ask me what contract they were signing. I have no idea. Yeah, but somebody was celebratory about it.
And they spent $30 million on one of his properties. Once again, Thomas Crown does not need money.
Right, that's all that this was pretty much establishing.
Yeah, it's just establishing that he's incredibly wealthy.
So we get to the caper right away, pretty much. The caper, there's jump cuts between Thomas Crown at his busy workday in the office, an elementary school field trip at this museum, and then the heist team, which is working in the maintenance and AC shafts of the art museum. Do you want to say how they come into the...
So, yeah, this is an art heist rather than a bank heist, and they get into the art museum by hiding in a horse. It's literally a Trojan horse. It's delivered to the museum. The museum's like, we didn't order this horse. We're supposed to get a sarcophagus. And they're like, well, this is what I'm delivering. And yeah, I was like, oh my god, are they really doing the Trojan horse things? And yep, some guy saws his way out of this statue. And they go about with their little art caper.
That wasn't so much a groan for me as it was for you. I know that it was for you.
It was just like, oh god.
For me, it established his weird sense of humor about the capers that he does. But then here's my big groan. He sets this up so his accomplices do get caught and picked up, and in that diversion, he steals the painting and folds it in half to put in his briefcase.
This bugged the crap out of both of us because we're watching this scene and he folds that painting in half. The painting is not, it's not a huge painting, but it's bigger than a briefcase.
Exactly, twice as big. Because it shows him placing the briefcase and close the briefcase shut, which, as you people know, folds right in half and hinges on top.
Yeah. So he steals. Is it a Monet? I think it's a Monet.
Yes, it is a Monet.
But then he gets back to his place and takes it out of the briefcase, and it's fine. So I was like, no, I saw that man fold that damn painting.
Inconceivable. So then there's the police debriefing, and we meet... her name is Catherine Banning.
Yeah.
And she's an insurance agent for high-profile paintings.
Right. So this is
historical paintings.
This is Rene Russo.
Right. And Dennis Leary is the police lieutenant.
An oddly low-key Dennis Leary. And it's really
strange. He was trying to break into acting at that point.
Yeah.
I was fine with his performance.
Yeah, he was probably one of the better performances in this movie. We'll get to it.
And his team and Ms. Banning review security footage, and they're piecing together. Again, she pegs him as the mastermind right away. Then here's where we get Thomas Crown's pretentious compilation of weird sports. He crashes a catamaran
on purpose because he wanted to splash. He's got the glider thing going again.
No regard for the other staff members that are sailing the catamaran. No regard for their health or safety whatsoever. Let alone the cost of this beautiful boat. So there's this ball or mixer. I'm not sure. They didn't talk about what it was, but Ms. Banner shows up. She introduces herself to Thomas Crown, lets him know that they're investigating him, much like in the first one. Yeah. They go on a dinner. Well, before their dinner, he invites her to dinner. She accepts. And the police show up at his house
with a warrant. But this is what I didn't understand. They show up with a warrant.
Yeah.
But then his lawyer is there for some reason cooking him dinner. His lawyer is Ben Gazzara, and I think you see Ben Gazzara for all of 10 seconds in this film.
If that.
If that. He comes out of the kitchen, and I think that's all you see of him.
Yeah, they're both wearing aprons, so you know they've been cooking together. It's very Hannibal from the television series Hannibal.
But he's like, this is my lawyer, and then they just stop the search. And I'm like, well,
I figured there was a loophole in the warrant.
But you're not told. It's just like,
you're not told.
We failed on that score.
Right, and she's like, I'll get in his house. And they go on the dinner.
But you had a warrant.
During the dinner, she steals his keys, has a copy made while she's on the dinner date. So that's how she gains access into the house.
She basically is breaking and entering.
It is still breaking and entering and trespassing, as Dennis Leary's lieutenant points out. So they try to go there to steal the painting back. That's what they're there for in the house. And she does. She comes prancing into the police station with this painting wrapped in blue tarp, and then is told that is it a forgery? Is that what they said?
Yeah,
or it's some sort of.
Well, the art historian comes in to look at it, and he X-rays it. This was the most bullshit scene, because he quote unquote X-rays it, and he looks, oh, there's a painting underneath this paint. And she's like, well, Monet would frequently reuse canvases. And he's like, I think you should look at this. And she looks through these, it looks like a microscope. And you can see dogs playing poker. And I'm like, that's not how X-rays work.
That's not how any of this works. And the lieutenant, I mean, nobody was there to charge her with breaking and entering. But still, you would not be so blatant to let the police lieutenant know that you broke and entered.
Yeah. And so he has replaced the painting that he had stolen with a fake. Which I'm like, okay, so he knew she was going to break into his house and planted that, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I'm sure he felt her steal the keys out of his jacket pocket.
That's what I'm assuming.
And he also kind of got the heads up about, well, if they're investigating me, they're going to want to show up at the house, and that's why he had his attorney there.
That's
to sort of
it's just
cop block that.
He knows things he shouldn't know, and she knows things she shouldn't know. It gets very irritating how they just, well, I knew you'd, he knows she drinks this green smoothie. Why? Because she does. And he apparently found that in a file somewhere. I don't know. It's just they know things they're not supposed to know.
She's from Lima, Ohio, and our brothers are plumbers. That is all. That makes sense. If he Googled her or whatever, he would have found those things out. But if all that stuff annoyed you, I'm sure that the movie rebounded during the dance scene.
Oh my god. This dance scene.
So she shows up, she marches up to him in the black and white ball, where we meet Anna, a supermodel.
A supermodel that is explained poorly at the end of this film.
When I say supermodel, I mean the actress is a
supermodel. She doesn't say a whole lot. Does she say anything?
No, she doesn't have a single line.
Yeah, okay, so she's there for pretty.
Yeah. But Renee Russo, Catherine Banning shows up to the black and white ball with a red wrap around her, and once that's taken off and we can really see them dancing, because the camera is only showing them doing the tango from the shoulders up.
The shoulders up, because it's obvious neither one of these two actors can dance. It's very obvious neither one of them can dance.
But then the camera pans out and we see that, her dress is sheer. She wore some fucking lingerie to this place.
Yeah, and they show that by just focusing on her ass
and
while she wiggles it a little bit.
Well, and nipples.
And nipples. But yeah, it's obvious Pierce Brosnan and Renee Russo couldn't dance. So everything is very shoulders up. Look like you're dancing.
And that is the seduction scene that we're getting in place of the chess scene from the...
The chess scene was more effective, and that's sad.
But the sex scene was better here because they have sex on the marble floor, they have sex on the marble staircase, they have sex. What is he pouring on her? Bourbon?
I don't know. He's pouring some sort of liquor on her, which, trust me, You don't want in certain places. You don't want alcohol in certain places.
He's very impressed by her sexual prowess.
Yeah.
And she's impressed by his ability to keep it going. So they have really good sex. Good for them.
I'm really sorry for the housekeeper or whatever, and hope she didn't slip down the stairs on any just, bodily fluids that were left behind.
I feel sorry for their chiropractor because, both of them are showing up the next morning.
Sex on the stairs is never comfortable.
No.
It's never comfortable. I don't care if you're Tommy Wiseau or freaking Pierce Brosnan.
There's no flexibility to marble flooring.
No.
I have to
You
tell
just got pointy rocks in your back while you're trying to get off. It's not comfortable. Even sex on a flat marble floor
This
wouldn't
is
be
our
comfortable.
PSA.
This is it. This is it. I know I'm old and my bones are rickety, but mattresses for the rest of time for me. You're throwing me on a desk, I'm going to throw something out. It's going to be like, okay, thanks, hospital now. It's just going to be embarrassing for everyone involved.
You would have been like, my books!
No, just throw stuff off my desk. You'd be like, I am reading that? Pick that up right now.
My bookmark had better not have fallen out of that.
Fell out of there. So, yeah, this is your big sex scene.
Yeah, and then there's the day dating compilation. They're air gliding. There's a series of narcissistic abuse here where he leads her to believe that he's seeing Anna on more than one occasion.
Yeah.
And then when she calls him on it, he's like, "No, you misunderstand. I had to do that
to trust you.
I had to know that there was some passion involved here, or if this was all about the painting." And she's like, "Oh, okay, I understand." And it just happens over and over again. This is gaslighting. This is not cool to put in films, guys. Not how we want to have our romances depicted in films, okay? Thank you.
Granted, this was 22 years ago, but still, she's supposed to be a smart woman, and he just plays her. It's just, it's kind of irritating.
So then there's the reverse caper, where...
He says he's going to put it back.
Yeah, he tells Rene Russo, I'm going to put the painting back Monday at 4 p.m. at the art museum. So either you can have the police meet me there and turn me in, or you and I can go away together, and I'll give you 10% or something. He gave her...
I think he said 10%, because she's getting 5% of the value of the painting if she retrieves it. And the painting is
doubling her...
Yeah, he's doubling her fee. The painting, from what we understand, is worth $100 million.
A school teacher
said that. I'm taking the school teacher's word for it. So this is his. Well, let me see what she's going to do, and I've got an outwit. Either way she goes, I've got an outwit for it. And it's clever. I enjoyed this part of the movie. Yeah, him putting... Well, it's clever up to a point. And then the sprinkler system kicked on.
Yes, as part of the caper, the sprinkler system kicks on to paint off a fake watercolor over top of the Monet.
Yeah. So he had actually put it back.
He's revealing to the police, and he's got the Thomas Crown fucking pencils in the way, like
admitting that he did this.
He's got his signatures all over it. Ha ha! It's been here since 2 days after I stole it. Ha ha ha! You dummies! Like as if anybody was going to guess that.
Yeah,
and he gets away.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there thinking, well, you just destroyed the Monet as well, because you're dumping a whole shitload of water all over it.
Yes, what an asshat.
It doesn't matter that it's an oil painting. You've damaged the canvas. And the freaking,
Yeah, and
frame.
he steals another painting while he's
Yeah,
at
he
it.
steals the painting that she liked.
Right.
So, and then apparently stuffs that in a briefcase.
So he gets away. Rene Russo tries to chase after him. The lieutenant kind of...
Let her go. His reasoning here is sound, though. He knows she's leaving to be with him, and he's like, it's just rich people problems, basically.
Yeah. And he lets her go. She goes to the helipad where they had agreed to meet, and some dude in a bowler hat gives her the painting that he'd just stolen, and she gets on a plane anyway. She had liquidated her money.
Yeah.
This pisses me off. She had taken a huge loss on her money, her life savings, to get on this airplane and leave the country with this narcissistic asshole. And he's on the plane. So in this movie, they end up together. It's a quote-unquote happy ending.
Yeah, and they're basically just making out in first class. And I feel sorry for the stewardesses that have to clean up first class after it.
He's going to pour so many bottles on her.
Could I have another vodka, please? Yes. And that's your end. That's your happy ending. And then we get Sting singing as Windmills in a Mind. They couldn't do this damn movie without that song.
Here's the thing. Faye Dunaway was enough of a cameo, enough of a nod to the original for me. Let the song die. I hated it so much. But the music in this one is far better.
Yeah, the music in this one is far better.
The music has a very jazz, like
it's very
easy listening jazz.
It is. They use a lot of Nina Simone, which I'm always a fan of when you put Nina Simone in a movie. I love it. But it fits with the art theft theme. The jazz in the first one didn't really fit with the
all over the place.
The bank heist, and it goes all over the place.
It goes from clowny to suspenseful to student. It just is. And then not
every
good.
15 minutes they're throwing in Windmills of Your Mind. It's just somewhere in that original movie. My problem with both of these movies is I can't stand Thomas Crown. I just narcissistic rich white man.
This is a movie for Republicans. Yeah. I am going to just be political here. But these are for the people who think that they're going to be millionaires any day now.
Yeah. They will be Thomas Crown someday.
And they don't give a shit about anybody else around them. They would not donate any money ever to any charity.
Yeah.
They think the world is only about them. And I just can't. I just could not stand it. At no point does he talk about donating any money, working for charity, giving back to the community. And he's taking her on these dates that are thousands of dollars. Yeah. It's like watching an episode of The Bachelor. Yeah, we get it. Anybody could fall in love in these few days of extravagance here, but is anybody really thinking about let's see what we have in common. Let's see what we are like in the real world.
Yeah. And that's my big problem here. It's in the first one, he steals money he doesn't need and just puts it in another bank account. He doesn't do anything productive with it. He's not helping build a poor neighborhood or something so we can Robin Hood this dude and feel okay about it. He's just a rich guy who's bored and wants to steal some money. And she is just piss poor at her job because she's not interested in getting that, she ends up not being interested in getting that money back. And in the remake, once again, he's stealing a painting, not to sell it, but so he can look at it.
For 2 days.
For 2 days. And then put it back. And he likes put it back idea. Where no one will know it's there until he reveals it's there, because it's a game to him.
Yes, it's a game to him. And again, with the catamaran thing, he crashes the catamaran, doesn't care who's on the thing. He doesn't care about anyone around him.
Yeah.
Even when he walks into work, he's like, good morning to everybody.
Show me some good numbers.
Doesn't list anybody's name. Not, hi, Carol. How are you? How was your weekend?
I think he said his secretary's name. Because she's mentioned that he had forgotten his briefcase. Because he left the briefcase in the art museum as part of the heist. His briefcase was a heater or something. Because they have the world's worst security system in this freaking museum. That's based completely on temperature. And you can fuck up the security system with a portable heater.
So this romance and this likability of the character is completely lost on me because
I just didn't care about any of these people.
I can't. I don't like these people in real life, and I definitely don't like them depicted
Here.
on film.
Yeah. And they explain away the supermodel by saying that her father was in jail and he was helping raise her. I'm sorry.
His father was the
his father was
forger.
a forger.
The art forger.
But was that her father?
Yeah.
Okay, her father is an art forger, so he's helping raise her because her father's in jail. And he's saying, no, it's just, it's all platonic or whatever. But when he's leaving town at the end, she's sitting on his bed in a nightshirt.
No, she had a leather strapless gown on.
Oh, okay. Oh, no, I thought that was earlier.
No.
She had this leather
seem
strapless
platonic.
Gown.
She came right off of a photo shoot.
Photo shoot. But this just does not seem platonic to me. And I know that he was trying to make it seem not platonic just to, gaslight Rene Russo because he's an asshole.
She was the one going to see her father, basically, to have the forgeries done.
The forgeries done. So he's basically implicated her in this heist. I don't know. Neither one of these movies, they both rub me the wrong way. I was hopeful for these two because I hadn't seen either of them, and I heard really good things about, particularly the original. And then I had heard that it was a good remake, and I'm just like, boys, white people problems.
It's definitely a lot of societal problems made out to be fun.
Yeah, and look at this cool, heroic, sexy caper.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, no.
A lot of people up their own ass here. I don't like either version. Do we have to pick our favorites?
You have to pick a favorite. I've been down this route before where we hated both of them.
God, so the dilemma here for me is, did I like the remake more because it didn't have that shitty soundtrack, or did I like the original more because he was less of a
gaslighting asshole?
Yeah.
He was more just, he was what he said he was. What also bothered me about the original is he's divorced. He has kids. But
she's got custody. Doesn't want to see them.
Yeah, not once does he mention his children or anything, there's not like, he's not robbing the bank so he could send money to his kids. He doesn't see them. It's just, I'm gonna go with the original.
Because you love the song.
Yeah, man, I am gonna play Windmills. I'm gonna play it really loud. I'm going with the original because Thomas Crown in the original doesn't pretend to be anything than what he is, which is a narcissistic, selfish asshole. He doesn't pretend to be. He's got a girlfriend on the side. He admits he has a girlfriend on the side. He doesn't really love Faye Dunaway, but she doesn't really love him. It's very much a lust situation. Could they have ended up together? Yeah, but they don't, and that seemed like a natural ending to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick the original for slightly different reasons. Despite hating the soundtrack, it had that chess scene, which I laughed at.
The chess scene is much better than the marble floor sex scene. Just saying.
I laughed at that like crazy. Faye Dunaway was classic, and I felt like Rene Russo was borderline trashy.
It's weird because I know Rene Russo can be a very classy actress, and I absolutely love her as
showing
Priya.
up in lingerie at the ball to seduce him was just so over the top.
Yeah,
at least during chess, there was some cat and mouse there.
Yeah, there was some cat and mouse there, and it's just the two of them. They're not playing chess, in an auditorium full of people.
Yeah. And because you don't see him mistreat any staff.
Yeah.
The way that the remake does. I think the original doesn't glorify his life as much. I mean, it's close.
It's close.
It's close.
He's shown to be just very privileged and very wealthy, but
it doesn't glorify that lifestyle as much as the remake.
Not shown. He's not shown as somebody who is really enjoying his life. He doesn't seem like he's enjoying his life at all.
And it does not have that Hollywood happy ending. So I'm gonna go with the original.
Yeah, same here. So we've got 2 votes for the original, although it's a very, very tepid vote.
very icky.
It's a very tepid vote.
It's an icky vote.
Yeah, neither one of these films really do anything for me. I'm just not... I'm not the audience for this.
No.
So, shall we pick what we do next?
Cue up the randomizer.
Randomizer huge. What are we at now? We're at how many are
While
those?
you do that, I'll order a
42.
bottle of Bordeaux for the office.
Yes, make it a 1981 $3,000 bottle, and just put it on my tab in this restaurant that has wall-to-wall people. You're going to spend like thousands of dollars on a freaking meal. Number 21, which is
21.
3:10 to Yuma.
Wait, but we just saw. But we just saw 1, 2, 3 Pelham. Or the Taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3.
Taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3, 3:10 to Yuma. It's numbers. All numbers all the time on Refried Scene. So, yeah, this one, I know the remake stars Christian Bale and Russell Crowe. I'd never seen either of these movies again.
So is Clint Eastwood in the original then?
I don't know.
Or is that the remake?
No, the remake is the one with Russell Crowe and Christian Bale.
I have not seen that for sure.
Yeah. 3:10 to Yuma, the original, stars 1957. Glenn Ford. Oh, okay. This is...
I don't believe I've seen that, but I might have.
Stars a bunch of generally Western-type actors. So, yeah, this is going to be interesting. Yeah.
I hope they have better music.
I hope they have better music, too. I will say I do like the soundtrack to the remake of Thomas Crown.
Yes, I like that.
Even
I'm not
Sting's-
going to go buy it.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Even Sting's remake of Windmills in Your Mind is better than the original, that poor British folk singer gasping for air. Oh my god. Like a spider on a wheel within a wheel.
All right, well,
Okay.
thank you for listening.
Thank you.
We'll catch you next time.
Bye.